A lot has changed in 50 years, especially when it comes to science and technology. This month marks the 50th anniversary of the science fiction film 2001, A Space Odyssey. And to help us look back in time and ahead to the future is Jeff Rogers from the South Florida Museum. 50 years ago, Jeff, this film was created to help us look at science and technology in 50 years ahead of 1968. Space travel it talked about. How has space travel and our idea about it changed since then?
Well, we certainly didn't get it the way they showed it in the movie. It's not as common. We don't have a moon port. You don't just take a trip to the moon. You don't just take a trip to Jupiter. But we could have, probably, if we had chosen 50 years ago to invest in those types of technologies. I bet we could be doing that.
Do you think we'll be doing that in the future? In 20 years, 50 years from now?
Well, if Elon Musk has
Nobody
his
will
way,
be alive to remember your answer, so go ahead.
People have already signed up to be the first colonists for Mars. People are dying to go. There are more people who want to go than they have spots to go. So, yes, that's definitely in our future. It's not going to be easy, though. It's not going to be as easy as what they show in the movies.
Well, one thing, too, that hasn't been as easy, the film's not just about science and technology, it's also about humanity. And it talked about how humanity would change in the next 50 years. Are we ahead or behind of what it predicted?
I think we're right there.
Really?
Well, you know, when you take a look at what they were suggesting about how humans interact with technologies and how the computer who starts to fight back. How many of you have fought with your technologies?
Oh, I yell at it all the time.
So yeah, I don't think they're doing it consciously, but there's a big concern with artificial intelligence that we may end up in a situation like that, and we're very close to that point in technological time as well.
So do you think human beings have gotten better or worse over the last 50 years?
Oh, I think we're the same. I think people stay the same.
But we know so much more.
Yeah, I don't think we always use what we know. So,
isn't it funny that we know each other better, too? I mean, the continents are not far away now. You can talk to somebody right now. You would think as we know each other better, we would be kinder and nicer.
Well, and I think, you know, when you have new technologies that allow you to communicate instantly, globally, and to access all information that ever was right here in a device like that, that's part of the future that this movie talked to. And we do that to great effect today.
Well, it talked about communication, too. And I don't see any cell phones in it, but iPads.
They predicted the iPad. They called it a news pad. So we
it
see
is.
astronauts and people on the moon station reading their newspapers on these flat tablets. And think back to your television sets and your computers back in the late 1960s. My dad worked in computers, and a computer was 20 feet long and 5 feet tall, and my TV was 3 feet deep and sat in a big wooden console. So that was the future.
Now, what about Siri and Alexa? Are those the predicted ones? They just don't look like good-looking women or something?
Well, I don't know what Siri or the Google Assistant looks like.
We think they're pretty good-looking, though, don't we?
Those are fake artificial intelligence.
Oh, don't tell me that.
They're fake. They're fake. They won't really tell you what they think. I play with mine every once in a while. You can ask Siri to open the pod bay doors like they do on the movie. Try it at home, see what she says.
Oh, really? So they did predict a good bit of what has come about over the last 50 years.
Absolutely. You know, Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke, when they were writing this film, they consulted with professors at MIT and folks at NASA to really get a sense of what the future held. And so they weren't just guessing, and it wasn't pure fiction. They were really trying to base the science fiction on real science.
Well, that's really fascinating. Of course, you can see real science today at the planetarium. You've got lots of exciting things going on there this month, right?
Every month, yes.
Kids Space? Tell me about Kids Space.
So Kids Space is a planetarium program on Saturday mornings, specially designed first thing in the morning. It's at 10 o'clock, right when we open up. For kids and their parents, and you want to go to Jupiter, you want to go to the moon, you want to fly out to the edges of the universe. We can't do it in reality yet, but we can do it virtually, and the program's designed specifically for kids to get their space fix.
Oh, this sounds awesome. I'll be there with my grandchildren. Look out. Stelliferous Live.
Stelliferous.
I never
know,
can
it's
say
a
that
terrible
word.
It's a terrible word.
Say that word.
It means full of stars, stelliferous.
And that's a program there.
On the fourth Wednesday night of each month at 7 p.m., we do about an hour-and-a-half program. We take a look at the monthly night skies. We take a look at current events in astronomy and astrophysics. And then there's good questions and answers. So bring your questions, the things you're always curious about. And it's always lively discussion, and I think that's the best part of the program.
So we aren't surprised by the next 50 years.
That's right. We can start talking about it now.
For more information about these programs and many others at the South Florida Museum, you can go to their website. Next, a look ahead to the Sarasota Film Festival.